Coming up next, Pennsylvania's primary is just around the corner. But does the move to an early primary matter?
Plus, a lack of interest in one of our nation's most important professions.
The stress of planning and grading and emailing parents, it's just a lot. It never ends.
And Happy Valley is in the middle of a weeks-long stretch of events bringing tens of thousands of visitors to our area, putting a strain on hotel availability.
I will say within, 72 hours of that announcement going out, rooms are going like hotcakes.
The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Tyler Gallagher.
And I'm Marie Moyer. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report.
U.S. officials are confirming an Israeli strike against Iran overnight. It happened near the city of Isfahan, which is home to multiple military bases and a nuclear research facility. Iranian officials say 3 drones were shot down, which caused no damage. The attack happened just hours after Iranian officials had threatened to retaliate harshly if such an attack occurred. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken responded to the attacks this morning at the G7 Forum Summit in Italy.
We're committed to Israel's security. We're also committed to de-escalating, to trying to bring this tension to a close.
Iranian commanders say they could reconsider their nuclear policies if Israel continues to threaten its nuclear facilities.
We're just 4 days away from Pennsylvania's primary election as voters choose candidates for November's matchups. Alexis Belatris is live in our studio with more. Alexa?
President Biden and former President Trump are spending time in the Keystone State ahead of the PA primary election. President Biden is back in Delaware now after touring Pennsylvania this week, making stops in Scranton, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. Former President Trump was in Pennsylvania Saturday for a rally in Schnicksville outside of Allentown. Pennsylvania's primary moved from mid-May last year to April 23rd this year. The idea was designed to give PA voters more of a say in the presidential race, but it hasn't worked out that way. That's because both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have each already won enough delegates in the primaries around the nation to wrap up their party's nomination. That sets the stage for a bitter rematch between political rivals. Also on Tuesday's ballot, U.S. Senate and House races for the contests of State Attorney General, Treasurer, and Auditor General, as well as state houses and Senate races. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday. And more than a week before the polls open here in Pennsylvania, former President Trump endorsed Pennsylvania's U.S. Senate candidate, Dave McCormick. Trump urged voters to support McCormick and called him a good man. The endorsement came 2 years after Trump helped sink McCormick in a Senate primary. Meanwhile, jury selection continues today at Trump's hush money trial in New York. So far, 12 jurors have been seated. Many voters around the nation and here in our area are watching developments. Kendall Skalicki reports.
It's a historic trial that could last 6 weeks or more, the first criminal trial of a former president.
This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And again, it's a case that should have never been brought. It's an assault on America.
Donald Trump is accused of falsifying business records as a part of a hush money effort to keep stories about his private life from emerging during his 2016 campaign. As the long jury selection process dragged on this week, people on both sides of the political aisle watched. In State College, the president of the Penn State College Democrats weighed in.
For me, it's not about getting Donald Trump because Donald Trump is my political opponent. For me, it's more about making sure that everybody's subject to the same laws, whether you're a billionaire, former president like Donald Trump, or you're just Joe Schmo on the street.
Many Republicans expressed frustration over the timing of the trial, coinciding with primary elections. Ryan Klein is the president of the Penn State College Republicans.
I definitely view it as political persecution on the grounds that it could have been litigated much earlier in time. This is something that's really only coming out now when he's actively running again. And I think that's because a lot of the people in the Department of Justice and a lot of people throughout the country view Trump and his beliefs to be a threat in whatever way that they believe that to be the case. And so they're actively trying to silence him and put him, either in prison or in court so that he can't make his case to the people.
During jury selections, lawyers grilled the jury pool about their social media posts, political views, and personal lives to decide who can sit in fair judgment of the former president. Trump's trial could begin as early as next week. In State College, I'm Kendall Skulicki for the Center County Report.
We'll bring you live special reports on election night beginning at 8 p.m. Tuesday and on our Belisario College Student Media YouTube channel. For now, I'm Alexis Velatris. Now back to you.
Thanks, Alexa. To other political news now, the State College Borough Council will have to name an interim member soon. And that's because Councilman Divine Lipscomb is resigning next month. He and his family are moving. He became the first black council member in State College in 2021. This is the third time in the past 5 years that the Borough Council has had to fill vacancies.
New regulations on artificial intelligence may be coming to Pennsylvania. The State House passed a bill that will require businesses to tell consumers if they use AI in their written or visual content. It was designed to protect consumers against false information. The bill is now on its way to the Senate for consideration.
Between 2011 to 2022, PA state officials reported a 71% loss of teacher certifications issued. I had a chance to talk to some young teachers this week to find out why. Chantel Fry has only been a teacher for a year, but she says the stress has brought it to an early end.
The stress of planning and grading and emailing parents, it's just a lot. It never ends. It never stops in my brain. I dream about it at night. It's never ending.
Fry and others have been dealing with burnout early in their teaching careers, and it stems from low wages and poor benefits in a difficult job.
The people who make all the rules and all the laws are obviously not teachers, and it's hard for us to have to follow the things they want us to do and be successful. And so we're given a big book of curriculum and standards that we need to follow.
To become certified, student teachers must work 12 weeks without pay while finishing a teaching degree. To incentivize students interested in teaching this year, the state offered applicants a $10,000 stipend to help fill the teacher shortage. That's as long as those students commit to teaching in PA. Penn State education student Haley Philstucker says she thinks there should be a compensation for student teachers starting their careers.
It's a full-time gig. Like, we are working in schools full-time as a teacher. And because of that, we can't really get jobs anywhere else. So we don't really get a livable wage.
Although the stipend was only expected to serve about 650 applicants, over 3,000 student teachers applied within 2 hours. Park Forest student teacher Emily Hold says there are still many graduating students like her who are passionate about teaching.
I love it. Today, it's like one of my last few days. And today when I was leaving, I started tearing up because I'm like, I'm never going to see these kids again. And they just bring me so much joy.
Pennsylvania had its highest teacher attrition rate in a decade last year, with almost 10,000 PA teachers leaving their jobs. Also in education, the State College Area School Board approved a new budget for next school year that increases the real estate tax by almost 3%. This marks the lowest real estate tax increase in the district since 2022. The school board will have a hearing for the budget May 20th, and the final budget will be ready for approval on June 3rd.
Despite the ongoing teacher shortage, one school has found a way to expand its opportunities for students. Eric Morris reports.
The centers have been an incredible area of support for our students.
This school year marked the beginning of a new program at State College Area High School. A new 3-tiered support system is now in place to help any student looking for some extra help.
We were looking at ideas and ways that we could offer additional academic supports to students, and the committee suggested that we start with these academic support centers.
The Humanities Center is dedicated for students who need help with subjects like social studies or English. These are a part of the second tier.
And so the idea is that we have this center that is located within the building that throughout the day, no matter the time, students can come in, drop in, gain support for their classwork, gain support from teachers who are in that field of study, and provide that kind of encouragement and support to help them with that assignment.
Trevor Dietz is a social studies teacher who works in the Humanities Center. He says he uses different techniques to get the best from the students.
And a lot of times I ask the kiddo, the student, to teach it to me. And I have them use that strategy. And usually from pulling that together, we can piece it together as a team.
Denise Schwab works in the Academic Center for Enrichment, or ACE. Schwab and her coworkers work under the same philosophy.
We don't believe that any student wakes up and says, you know what, I'm going to fail today.
The school is currently in talks for what the program will look like next year, but there haven't been any final decisions made. In State College, I'm Eric Morris for the Center County Report.
The school has reported over 2,000 drop-in visitors this school year alone.
Still to come on the Center County Report, we take a look at our 7-day forecast. Will there be any rain this weekend?
And with exciting events coming to State College, hotels are in high demand. Find out how they are responding.
Plus, the Penn State alum running across the country that made his way through campus this week.
With events like the U.S. Olympic Trials, a Luke Combs concert, and Penn State graduations coming up, hotel rooms are in high demand. Erica Ross reports.
State College has some busy weekends coming up. With Luke Combs, Penn State graduation, and Olympic Trials in town, hotels are in hot demand.
And then the Luke Combs concert, we didn't know about till, I don't want to say last minute, but we knew about last fall, right? And the second that announcement went out, we anticipated it would be great for the market. So we took a look at our prices and we kind of adjusted them accordingly. And I will say within, 72 hours of that announcement going out, rooms are going like hotcakes. So
For the hotels in the area, Penn Stater General Manager Ryan Samay says these weeks are peak profit times for them and rates can skyrocket with demand.
Right. I mean, it's a play on supply and demand, right? So we think how many people are going to be coming to the area, how many rooms are in the market, historically, how the hotels have performed, how the market has performed. You kind of set your price point accordingly.
Hyatt Place Director of Sales Michael Balchin says that rooms for graduation weekend and other peak weekends don't stay on the market for long.
So graduation 23 ended, I think it was a week later, we opened up for graduation 24 and then sold out.
Balchin says that event weekends have positive impacts on his hotel, like allowing them to hire more staff. And those impacts echo around the community.
And again, it just obviously just positively impacts not just the hotels, but the businesses around us and everyone in town. So
In State College, I'm Erica Ross for the Center County Report.
For popular weekends, hotels usually open their reservations 1 year in advance. But for December 2024 graduation, you may need to reconsider your plans. The fall commencement ceremonies were scheduled for Saturday, December 21st, but with the expansion of the college football playoffs to 12 teams, home games are now a possibility. The university responded by moving commencement to Sunday, December 22nd.
Penn State Navy ROTC alum Paul Johnson is in the midst of a 3,000-mile coast-to-coast run from Los Angeles to New York City. The run is in support of veteran mental health awareness and fundraising for the charity called Team Red, White, and Blue. On Tuesday, Penn State students gathered and even joined Johnson on his run all around campus, starting around 12 p.m.
The final phase of the I-80 and I-99 interchange in Bellefonte is set to begin in the coming months. The goal is to connect the two highways with high-speed ramps instead of intersections and red lights. The $246 million project is scheduled to finish in 2030. Other PennDOT projects are continuing, including the Atherton Street construction, which is expected to be finished this fall.
The Center Area Transportation Authority is launching a new bus service that will run in Bellefonte and Benner Township. The Cata-Go line will be replaced by the B line starting July 1st. The new service will have 20 designated pickup and drop-off points. Fares will go up from $2.20 to $4 each ride. Cata will hold a public hearing on Wednesday to discuss the changes.
Taking a look just outside, we can see some showers in the distance over the Penn State golf course. Those showers are not leading the best of tee times. However, conditions are remaining just above 50 degrees with some southerly winds bringing in some breeze. Looking at our radar and satellite, these showers that are rolling through, we can see them stretching across the width of the entirety of Pennsylvania. They've moved through Pittsburgh and Johnstown and are now here at Center County. They'll be moving throughout the afternoon. Cloud coverage and showers will linger throughout the evening as well. Zooming out, we see the entirety of this low pressure system as it's centered just above western New York and up in Canada, and it stretches all the way down the Carolinas. As this system moves out over the Atlantic, we'll start to see milder conditions headed our way. Looking at temperatures across the Commonwealth, we can see in the valley here, we're sticking just around the 50-degree mark. To our west, temperatures are warmer as we're reaching just below 70 degrees over in Pittsburgh. This is different from the beautiful summer-like conditions we've had throughout this past week. We're starting to switch into a more milder and spring-like trend. As we look nationwide, we can see just why, as this cold front with this sharp contrast in temperature gradients is pushing eastward, and that will bring some colder air masses to hang around for the beginning of our upcoming work week.
Looking at our futurecast, seeing and timing out how this system will move out, we can see that it will be gone and out over the Atlantic by Saturday morning. High pressure will start to come down with a westerly wind that will keep things breezy and potentially some quicker gusts for our Saturday. Temperatures will drop pretty low in the overnights for both Saturday night and Sunday night, but cloud coverage and sun will be our friend for Monday. Looking ahead at the beginning of the week, by Tuesday evening, we start to see some showers and a low pressure system setting up to our west that'll move through by Wednesday morning, and it will be bringing us some more showers. But for this first pass of precipitation, we can see that we'll be getting around 1/12 of an inch here in State College, less than that to our east. Most of the rain is down to our southwest over by Johnstown as that has moved through, but this accumulation will continue through by Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Looking at our forecast for today, we can see that we have showers sliding by for our Friday, and they will go into the later hours of the evening. High of 56 degrees with a southerly wind with 13 to 15 mile per hour winds. As we look into tonight, those clouds hang around and temperatures drop to around 46 degrees with a southwesterly wind and 7 to 14 mile per hour winds. Looking into tomorrow, 55 with partly cloudy skies, gusts of around 30 miles per hour winds, but overall a pleasant start to the weekend. Looking at our 7-day forecast, we see that the temperatures start to dip low as the clouds clear out into our Sunday, bringing us some frosted mornings, and temperatures hang in these spring-like conditions around the upper 50s, lower 60s. Contrast from what we've had earlier, however, it looks like it'll be a great spring-like week ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little let down. Like just earlier this week, I was out tanning on Hub 1 and now there's just more rain.
Hey, at the end of the day, we'll take rain over snow, though, in the winter.
Agreed.
Now let's take it over to Mike Bolger with sports.
Thanks, Tyler. Coming up in sports, the Olympic trials come to town with several Nittany Lions participating. Plus, a look into the transfer portal after Penn State's annual blue-white game. All that and more next. I'm Mike Bolger with sports. Penn State is hosting the Olympic trials for the Paris 2024 Olympics in the Bryce Jordan Center today and tomorrow. Sam Kirk is live outside of the BJC where preliminaries, quarterfinals, and consolation rounds are currently taking place. Sam?
We're coming to you live from the heart of the action at the Bryce Jordan Center, where muscles, might, and the dream of Olympic glory are about to clash on the mat, where every takedown, every pin, and every point could lead to a shot at the ultimate prize, a place on the Olympic podium. University was set to host the 2020 Olympic trials until COVID-19 canceled the event. All of Team USA's representatives will be determined this weekend, with 19 wrestlers having ties to Happy Valley. Here's what former Penn Stater David Taylor and Arizona State's Colton Schultz had to say about their upcoming experience.
And, you know, we just have a collective group of people that want to get better every single day, and we're pushing each other every single day.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too often you got coaches letting you skip out on important duels, important tournaments to go wrestle around the world, train with the best guys. But our coaching staff, they've not just let me do it, but they've pushed me towards it.
I'm Sam Kirk for the Center County Report, live from the BJC. Now back to you, Mike, in the studio.
Thanks, Sam. That's definitely something we're going to be looking at throughout the entire weekend as we go through it. And also something we're going to be looking at is the NCAA football transfer portal as that reopened for athletes on Tuesday. Penn State has lost 2 wide receivers to the portal. Leading receiver Keandre Lambert-Smith announced his intentions on Monday before the portal opened. Malik Mega joined Lambert-Smith 1 day later. The current period to enter the portal ends on April 30th. After going undefeated in the conference play, the Nittany Lions host this year's EIVA tournament. The Nittany Lions are going to the championship after defeating Harvard yesterday in 4 sets. Penn State will face conference rival George Mason tomorrow at 7 p.m. in Rec Hall for the EIVA title. The Penn State men's lacrosse team is heading into their last regular season game against Rutgers tonight at 6 p.m. As for the women's team, the number 19 ranked team played their last regular season game yesterday against Johns Hopkins. They won that game 16-13. Next week is the start of the men's and women's Big Ten Lax tournaments. The men's team will find out who they will play first for the next weekend's game after conference play wraps up against the Scarlet Knights. As for the women's team, their first Big Ten tournament game is April 29th. against Michigan. State College's baseball team is approaching the halfway point of its regular season after a 3-game road trip. The Lions are sitting at number 4 in the Mid-Penn standings with a 4-3 record, going 3-2 in conference. They will host the boys Central Catholic on Saturday afternoon and then welcome Mifflin County to Community Fields on Monday evening. Penn State baseball hosted its final Dollar Dog Night of the 2024 season. The Nittany Lions faced Kent State, where they lost 9-3 in front of a breaking record crowd of 5,000 fans at Medler Field. The crowd bought more than 8,500 hot dogs, beating the previous record 6,100. The Nittany Lions will look to bounce back against Michigan State on the road tonight. Well, guys, EIVA tournament, baseball, softball wrapping up their seasons into the lacrosse tournament starting Big Ten play. Man, playoff season is definitely here in Happy Valley.
Yeah, how about the wrestling Olympic trials, too? That's quite the big event for a small town here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just excited at the idea that I could watch them live, and then once I watch them in Paris, it could be the same people. It would be so exciting. So thanks, Mike. Coming up next, kites fly high as the State College community shows their support for teachers and students killed in Gaza. Warmer weather this week brought lots of students out to the Hub lawn. Among them were members of Penn State's Students for Justice in Palestine. Faculty, students, and others from the Penn State community gathered to fly kites to memorialize students and educators who have died in Gaza. The kite has become a symbol of peace and freedom for Palestinians. Attendees decorated kites and listened to poems read by Penn State students.
Art is so often a tool used in processing grief that I think we are chipping away at the unfathomable amount of grief that people are facing.
The United Nations estimated that 80% of schools in Gaza have been destroyed or damaged since October.
That's all for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us next Friday for another local news update.
And you can follow us anytime from our breaking news for our Center County Report for our Center County Report X, and you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.